Hello, welcome back to the Game Room, and let's talk about that February Nintendo Direct. Now, going into it, I didn't have much expectations, and coming out of it, wasn't blown away, though that's because most of the big reveals that they talked about, or the things they talked about that I was interested in, I was already familiar with. So let's go through this in order. I'm going to try and hit this as quickly as possible because they did drop not one, but two demos I want to check out and maybe even cover on the channel. So we'll get to those in a second, but if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. I put out a new video every week, as well as I try to cover stuff like this when I can. And let's jump into it.
There's a lot of games out there, some of which you've never even heard of. That's where I come in. My name's Luke. I've been playing games since the age of 2, and I have no life. This is my game room.
So starting off, they started off the Direct with Pikmin 4, which I am a huge fan of Pikmin, and the best part about this trailer was the fact that they showed what to me looked like the return of dungeons from Pikmin 2. And if you've played the Pikmin series, the first game was always on a timer, the second game had a timer, but then when you went into these underground sections, it expanded into a limitless area, almost like a survive as far as you can get type challenge with a boss at the end. And then Pikmin 3 kind of removed that and went more with Wii U crazy wonkiness, and I think it was a return to just timed events. So Pikmin 4 brings that back, as well as they have this new cool dog-like Pikmin creature and ice Pikmin, and just, I'm open for it. I'm looking forward to it. Probably the most excited I am for any of the games showed in this Direct that I didn't know that much about would be Pikmin 4. After Pikmin 4, they introduced a new Samba de Amigo game, which is the one that has those famous maracas for the Wii. Know nothing of the series, haven't played any of the series, have no interest, but I know for the people who like this type of game and this series, I'm happy for them. I hope it's a good time. Enjoy it, but moving past that, we have a game called Fashion Dreamer, which, my goodness, please, Cammy, when you get older, don't play games like this. I don't want you to have to, let's be an influencer and show how to wear the best styles. I just was not feeling it. No interest whatsoever, but let's move past that. They talked about the Bayonetta origin story game, which to me looks like it was a different type of game that they then slapped Bayonetta on. To be honest, a little bit more interested in it based on the way the mechanics are. You control Bayonetta as well as this demon dog creature that does all the damage, whereas Bayonetta is a support character, which is kind of interesting, you know, going back before she has her witch powers, but she has some powers. But then again, it's almost like, I don't know, I really feel like they just slapped on the Bayonetta title because the art style, the feel, just does not feel like a Bayonetta game. I digress. Interested in it? Not really. A little bit more interested after this trailer. Might be something I'd pick up cheap down the line. Moving past that, there was a game I surprisingly was interested in because my daughter loves Minnie Mouse and my wife loves Disney. The Mickey game, the 4-player co-op Mickey game with Goofy and Donald, and even though the art style looks a little wonky, in game the art style looked pretty good. And it looked fun. It looked like a fun family game. So sue me, I'm a dad now. That's something that I'd probably be interested in playing with them. Not something I'd pick up for myself, but definitely a game that wasn't on my radar that is definitely on my radar now. And something that surprisingly I didn't think I'd be interested in at all, though I can't lie to myself. I love Dead Cells, so as soon as I saw that Castlevania DLC, it doesn't look like what they've done with the previous Dead Cells DLCs, where essentially they just add different pathways through the main game. I'm guessing this is a completely separate area where you go through it. And if that's the case, then okay. You know, I'd rather have a Dead Cells 2. I'd rather have a Castlevania game. I know my buddy Mike Tendo is ruining the day that they're doing this, but I probably will end up picking it up just because I love Dead Cells. I'll check it out. I wish they'd come out. Motion Sim, please come out with a new game. I'll buy it. There's a new turn-based looking game that I had no interest in called D-Cop. It's almost like it takes place in the Matrix, where they go into this world that's a carbon copy of their world, and then whilst they're in that, some hacker takes over, and then they have to figure out something. I don't know. That's what I got from it. But watching the turn-based combat, made me think, well, I mean, is that the state of the world we're in right now, where if I see any game that's a modern game that I don't know about and it has turn-based combat, I have to be like, well, let's see if this is good. Yeah, that's where we're at. So maybe that's interesting, but other than that, not really that interested in the game. Looked at a little The Xenoblade 3 DLC. Have not picked up Xenoblade 3. Would like to, and there's DLC for it, of course. There's DLC for all these games now. There was a game called Ghost Trick that for some reason reminded me of a modern Avenging Spirit type title, and I don't know if that's they made it sound like it was a remaster of another game. I don't know if it's a DS game or something like that. Interested. Might pick that up. Splatoon 3 DLC. I don't know how they keep coming out with DLC for Splatoon. How they come out with 3 Splatoon games anyways. Nothing. They just add maps. They had maps and weapons. I don't know. I mean, I like Splatoon 2. Don't get me wrong. I have Splatoon 1. I never opened it because it was a Wii U game. Splatoon 3 I will eventually end up buying, but do I need DLC for it? No. I mean, I'm just waiting for them to come out with a Splatoon DLC called Squid Game, where it's very violent. Because, come on, you're missing a prime opportunity here, Nintendo. Fire Emblem Engage. Fire Emblem Engage, I am actively playing right now as we speak, and I have had quite some time with it. I will say, the writing is not great. The anime, like the cutscenes are a little ridiculous, where it shows the characters talking to themselves and they're about to get into a battle, and then people are just standing around waiting to get in the battle, and then you jump into the battle. Combat-wise, it's fantastic. It really strips down all of the recent Fire Emblems adding of the buddy system, or the defense buddy system, or the army system. And now you have... Anyway, we're not talking about the game. There's DLC coming out for Fire Emblem Engage, which adds some more emblem rings. You know the game, there's 12 emblem rings. Each has a hero from a previous game. Each one of them representing the other 12 mainline games in the series. There's only 12 of them because number 3 is actually a remake and a sequel. So Marth kind of covers for 1 and 3 in that, but the other ones each have one of the main characters as one of the rings. The DLC is introducing Hector, Soren from Path of Radiance, and Chrom and Robin, and... more or less, everyone they're adding for this DLC. Oh, Camilla, she has 2 big reasons why I'm sure she's one of the DLC people. But all of them characters I know, except the last one. But yeah, why is there DLC? The game just came out. How's there DLC already? It's Wave 2. It means there was already a Wave 1. I wish this was released with the game. It's not going to ruin anything. There's so much in Fire Emblem Engage that you don't have to pay attention to. And it's still a very fun playing game, but man, it sucks. It sucks that that's kind of what the case for these things is now. Is everything's DLC. But yeah, I'll probably end up buying the damn thing just because I do like the game. After that, they announced the game, or talked about a game called Harmony: Fall of Reverie. Looked like the newest walking simulator game that's probably going to be an indie review critical darling, but have not much gameplay to it, and probably win all these awards that no one who has actually played it will know what the hell it is. Interesting, maybe. I like the different pathways. That sounds good if it actually means something. And apparently you can side with different orders of the world, but just not my kind of game. Not my kind of game. Moving past that though, Octopath 2. Yes, it comes out so soon. So looking forward to it. I have the collector's edition pre-ordered, and unlike with my Divine Edition from Fire Emblem Engage, I will not be canceling my current one if I find Walmart list one cheaper that then gets canceled. Yeah, that happened. But there's a demo out. So yes, I'm going to try and get a review or a preview on the demo later today, maybe, or tomorrow. So there should be some content this week, more than your usual 1 video a week. And then after that, Sea of Stars, which I believe is made by the people who made The Messenger. I think it's that thing. I did the Kickstarter for that a few years ago. And it has a demo out too. So after I finish the Octopath demo, I'm going to have to try that one as well, which I'm looking forward to. Both of these games very much in my wheelhouse. After that, they announced a Etrian Odyssey remaster. I will say I've never played any of the Etrian Odysseys, but something about it just kind of appeals to me right now. That first-person, old-school, PC-like dungeon crawler, and the fact that it has a map that draws out as you play, or you can draw your own map. It looked good. It looked like something I might be willing to check out if there's a physical version. I don't really want the DLC version, but it's nice that they did it as a bundle. And they even have the ability to buy each game separately. There's 3 games put in the collection, so that's cool. I'm sure it's not just on Switch. It's on other platforms, but definitely something I'll be checking out. And then probably something that we've all been waiting for, the Advance Wars Reboot Camp. Advance Wars, which I've yet to play, though I do have this. Picked this up in Arizona a few years ago. And it's finally getting released in April. Can't wait to check it out. Hopefully this time it doesn't get delayed for another year. Still on the fence about it just based on what I played in Wargroove. But hey, I will check it out. I at this point in my life, I want to support tactical games that come out, tactical RPGs. I will throw my money at it. I will buy it day one just to show the developers that yes, if you make it, I'll pay for it. Because that's really what you have to do these days. If you like a game, you got to go out and pay for it full price. And if you're not happy with it, then don't pay it full price. That's why I didn't buy the Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope full price, because I was not happy with the changes to the combat. And obviously they didn't meet their sales quotas. But yeah, looking forward to that. And here I'm assuming is one of the big reveals. They finally announced Game Boy for the Nintendo Switch Online and Game Boy Advance Legacy titles for the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass, which are out today. Some solid games too. Not a huge selection for either one, but it was nice to see that down the line, Golden Sun's going to be coming out in the GBA. Fire Emblem, the first one, not the first one, but the first one to release out here in the US is going to be on the GBA. 2 games I don't have, I'd like to play. Gargoyle's Quest, so a nice deep cut that's fun, that's a little expensive these days. Mario and the Golden Coins. Kirby's Dream Land, of course. Nice to see it. They got the different filters. You can play a Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Original, Game Boy Color. So it's just nice to see Nintendo doing that. And a lot of people would say it's about time, but still, the Switch Online offerings are getting more and more worth it as the days go on, especially for the expansion pass, which I did upgrade for to play GoldenEye, and unlike most people, I love it. I fixed the controller. I'll probably do a video at some point or tell you about how I made it to feel like the original GoldenEye, but I don't notice the stick feeling off. I don't notice it not feeling right. I've gone through and beaten it on agent mode, on secret agent mode. I'm going through right now on 00 agent. I've gotten some of the cheats even, and it feels just like it did. If anything, it feels better because it's able to be played on my TV. Because I've tried to go back and play the N64 and it just doesn't. But yeah, the Nintendo Switch expansion pass, they got some solid games. Minish Cap, yeah, check it out. So all those were released, and then finally, you know what? How often have we heard the Metroid Prime trilogy is getting remastered for the Switch? Well, finally, Metroid Prime Remaster's coming out, but it's just the first one. God, it's just the first one. It's just the first one. The other two still have yet to come. My God, the two things I am so sick of hearing was the Switch Pro and the Metroid Prime trilogy. Thank God at least part of one came true. So yeah, it's just amusing, but it does look pretty damn good. They've changed the controls so that now you can do dual joystick, which is funny. They added that after the whole GoldenEye controversy, and you also have the ability to play it the old way too, which I would imagine if I went back and picked it up, which I might. I think it's only a $40 release. You know me. It's when you become a collector this day and age, it's just I need it. Even though I have so many games I haven't opened on the Switch. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that was announced. This game called Rain Code was announced. Okay, no, not really interested in that. I think I missed it, but they talked about the Kirby Return to Dreamland remake. Okay, not a big Kirby guy. Baton Kaitos. Baton Kaitos is getting a remaster. Okay, we've been getting a lot of these cool GameCube era remasters. Not Skies of Arcadia, Tales of Symphonia, and now Baton Kaitos, Metroid Prime remaster. Maybe that's Nintendo's thing they're doing because they don't want to put it on the online service, so they're just remastering it. Now, I haven't played either of them. I picked up that game last year because like I said, I've been trying to pick up some of the GameCube RPGs that I expect to go skyrocketing in recent years. I only have one of them. I don't have Origins, but this is something if there's a physical edition, I'll probably pick it up. Because that is interesting to me. It has an interesting combat system, and I've heard good things about it. And then they announced a game called Fantasy Life, which looks like Miitopia meets Dragon Quest Builders. No interest whatsoever in that game. Professor Layton is a series that I know a lot of people like. I've never played it. They announced just a title screen and showed it, so I'm sure good for you guys. Good for you guys. I know it's been a while since one of those games came out, so I'm sure people are stoked. Mario Kart 8 DLC. Can we please get Mario Kart 9? But I digress. Yeah, all right, okay. They announced a new course, so I wonder if that's a bit of a backtrack. I remember they were saying they were going to be remastering old tracks, but now here's a new course, which looks pretty cool. It's Yoshi's Island, and they put in Birdo finally, which I didn't even know Birdo wasn't in the game. That shows to show you how much I played it. There was a sizzle reel showing a bunch of different games coming out. Nothing crazy in that sizzle reel that we hadn't heard about. There's the Mega Man Battle Network, that game with the dog and the deer, the little deaf dude that kills people. That one might be interesting. Some interesting indie games. And finally, the trailer we've all been waiting for, which is... It's funny, I was so much more hyped for the new Zelda, and the closer we get to it, the less hyped I am. Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because seeing some of the imagery is really evoking Majora's Mask for me when I see it, when I saw the moon and all that. I'm like, oh god, don't tell me they're going to add a timed element into this game. But I'm still getting to day one. Unfortunately, it does look like they've increased the price since they can get away with it. Because of that, it comes out in mid-May, which for mid-May for myself is very crazy. My daughter's first birthday is going to be 2 weeks after this game comes out, as well as other various things, you know, Mother's Day and whatnot. But still looking forward to it. Looks fun. Looks great. Looks like they've really... I'm hoping that they take the Breath of the Wild bones and then start to infuse more Zelda that was missing. Chiefly temples and more long-lasting items you can find. And maybe get rid of the break system with the weapons. I don't know. You know, it's kind of ironic. Fire Emblem Engage, weapons don't break, versus weapons in Zelda do break. I mean, what world are we in right now? But that was the final game. Once again, no talk of Metroid Prime 4, no surprise announcement of Mother 3. You know, nothing too crazy here. Yeah, the craziest announcement I can think of was the Baton Kaitos remaster. The Metroid Prime remaster, I'm not really thinking is that nuts. I mean, it's nice to see that they did a full remake. I'm almost wondering if they did that as a proof of concept for them then going into Metroid Prime 4. So maybe because it was such a disaster, they had the original team go and remake their game, make an engine, get everything kinked out on the first one, and then take that and then implement it into the fourth one. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Direct. Pretty solid all around. Definitely nowhere as exciting for myself as the one from last February. But still, that Pikmin 4 looks solid. Zelda looks solid. The damn Fire Emblem DLC is probably going to get me. And other than that, what do you guys think? Did you enjoy it? Do you have any takeaways from this? I'm going to check out those 2 demos. So thank you, Nintendo, for making my week even more hectic. It's been so nice getting a hold of you guys. Take care.